Hey, let's see if we can do this without shutting everybody down for the night. I had this idea. This is Monday, by the way. I had this idea that today I would discuss. I have a lot of little tchotchkes and things around. Very few of them are really just out on. Like, I don't like to clutter a tabletop with like figurines and perfume bottles and pictures of people. And I've got 2 or 3 areas that are like that in my house, like would be the equivalent of a grand piano. I would put pictures. I don't have pictures of it, photos of everybody sitting around or anything. I don't like it, but I do like vitrines or etagères. They will house the smaller things that are precious to you. And here's a piece of advice that I learned on my own when I was a teenager. Something can be really low quality. It really can. But if you put it behind glass and it's got the right lines, it looks like what my sweet friend from Eastern Kentucky said one day as a compliment. It looked like a solid cherry antique. I mean, you could almost take something plastic, and if you put it with your other finery in a vitrine, people will just assume that it is finery too. Okay, so my subject today is little knick-knack paddywhacks that I do not regret purchasing on eBay to replace ones that I had in an earlier life that I either lost or stole or just somehow misplaced. I don't know. So I'm going to tell you about these little purchases off of eBay and Etsy are the good ones. But I want to tell you there are mountains of things. I think I was 2 years in before I realized, you can look at it, you can let it massage that memory. You can fantasize about it, but you don't have to buy it and have it sent to your home and then have to deal with it, house it, and always go, yeah, I don't really like that very much. And I am not a merchant, so I always just ended up giving that stuff away to somebody. And if it didn't, I stuffed it in someplace around here to give away to somebody. I have no problem parting with if you want to come find it and dig it out. Anyway, these are the things that I didn't regret. Let me see. What would be the first thing? Okay, we're going to do the first thing. Okay. When I was 8 years old, my grandma died. I remember everything about her. Some kids don't, but my memory kicked in pretty full force when I was about 4. So I have so many really good memories of my grandma. And she died when I was 8 years old, the springtime after I had turned 8 in December. And I inherited a rather important family piece to be mine, but it was known that my mother was going to house it and it was going to be hers until she passed, and then it would go to me. They also got pieces for my sister and my other sister, not my brother so much because he wasn't interested, but they got pieces too, and they married earlier and they took the pieces that they had with them. And anyway, so I had this piece, and I managed to inherit some of the little bric-a-brac that was in it, just for the sentimental sake, because she would take them out and let me play with them. So she had these 3 porcelain shoes. There's a tall high heel and a little pink baby booty that is real indescript but just beautifully shaped, and it's made of a much more coarse clay. It's much more coarse porcelain, almost like ironstone. So anyway, and then I had this glorious little green one, very fine porcelain, and then I had a little rougher porcelain, really tall shoe. But when I was a teenager, I wanted to impress a girl. She wasn't even my girlfriend. I didn't want her to be my girlfriend. I just wanted her to like me and think I was cool. And I gave her my grandma's little green and white shoe. I have never been able to replace it. This was reasonable facsimile. I searched for it, honestly, for 100 years. And finally settled for this, which is obviously a knockoff of that shoe, but this one is also in a far coarser material. It says Japan on it. I don't care about any of this, but it does fill the space where that one was, but the other was far more delicately created, and I think they did get the green right, but the other one did not have 2 big honking rosebuds sitting on the side. Just, let's do a pink and a purple flower just there with nothing to, and the red and the little floral paint job, I think those were in dark red. But anyway, it fills the void. So I do not regret this, replacing something I hadn't lost. Okay, next. When I was a little boy, my Aunt Blanche I thought her house was so fancy compared to ours, probably because it was. And my best friend was also her nephew, but by marriage, his uncle married my aunt, and he and his siblings felt like Blanche's house was really a couple notches above what we all had in White City, too. But she had a really pretty formal living room, and it had a pickled knotty pine wall with the mantelpiece, or the fireplace in the middle of it. It was just gorgeous. It was just that, you know what, it was that late 40s I Love Lucy colonial period there. That's exactly what that was. And anyway, but it was the 70s. And so it had the fireplace and built-in bookshelves on each side. She had like an off-white brocade French provincial sofa. We had nothing in our house that wasn't just really bad fake colonial, but anyway, she had that. And either her carpet and I think that her carpet, if her carpet wasn't off-white too, it was royal blue and matched the draperies, because she had the sateen pinch pleated wall of draperies there on her picture window. And then anyway, and then the punch color was red. So when you stepped into the room, it was very traditional. It was very elegant. It didn't look anything like, you would never say modern, but it had that modern, it was red, white, and blue in the 70s. That was so damn cool. And I don't think that Aunt Blanche even meant that at all, but it happened, and it was good. So anyway, in that living room, way up high, in one of the built-ins, she had some figurines. I remember these figurines, and I remember also seeing these in earlier pictures of her, like when she was a new bride. They were in her house. So anyway, when I was a little kid, I used to look at them, but I would never ask for them because they were way up there on the thing. And anyway, in the mid-70s, when I was I a tween? I was maybe an early teen. I was very interested in antiques, Victoriana and everything, and collectibles, and I didn't get much fun. So anything I could get for a few bucks was great. And my Aunt Blanche put these figurines in a yard sale, and I bought them from her for like 75 cents. And I had them and loved them for a long time, and missed them. So, I mean, somewhere along the way, I just lost them. So after I had gotten wise about eBay and realized you don't have to buy everything that you used to have. Like, I don't really need an actual ZBT baby powder tin from the time when I was a baby. And yet I have one, but all that shit, I don't even know where it is. But these little figurines were keepers. And that made me really happy. And let me tell you about her, because after I had her a while and replaced her, started to think her was Aunt Blanche's actual figurine. I thought, you know, that's just a little cheap Japanese hand-painted figurine. But I bet you she's got a husband out there in the universe somewhere. So I just put in a description, and up popped, if this is not her husband, if it's not her husband, it's her brother, and they are involved in something pretty dirty that's not appropriate between brother and sister. But I tend to think they're married, and they're like, "Hi, husband. I'm here waiting for you to come home from work. Well, I've just come in the gate. Just let me close the gate. I'll be in for supper." Anyway, that's what I would do when I was little. I don't do that now. But anyway, it didn't hurt. I did not regret those. And then, okay, so here's one I didn't regret. A friend of mine gave me a little Gorham cherub like this bisque for my 29th birthday party. And it was so dear to me because I did have cabinetry where I needed really tiny exquisitries. I didn't want to collect any one thing, but if it was really beautiful, and I thought, you know, everybody had cherubs everywhere, but this is a Cupid. This is a Cupid with a bow and arrow, and he is exquisite, and he's Gorham. And he's probably from the, you know, he probably was not terribly old when Curtis gave him to me, but it was very well thought out. Now, I did this really stupid thing when I would be in my early 30s, and for a long time, which was like, I would just give things to people. I mean, like, I got invited to, like, baby showers. Like, oh, you're the token guys at this baby shower. I'm talking about early when I moved to town. I don't even remember for whom these parties were thrown. I just knew that everybody was giving these people something cool, and I didn't have anything to give. So, for one of them, I gave away my Gorham Cupid, and when they opened it in front of everybody, everybody like went, what? Why? And I said, well, you know, babies have rooms and they need sweet little things too, whether they're boys or girls. And she went, oh, okay, that's so nice. I'm going to put that over there. And I hope somebody got me that diaper eater thing. So anyway, another thing that I have not found, I had two exquisite, and they were not cheap at the time. They were not museum quality, but they were little bisque baby chicks, and they were breaking out of their eggs, and each one was in a different phase of breaking out of the eggs. They looked absolutely realistic. They were exactly the right size, and they sat on a table in my parlor, perfectly placed. And when I moved to LA, another baby shower, I thought, well, those chicks would be a sweet gift for this one. And, you know, at that one, she opened them and went, I don't understand. Are they salt and pepper shakers? And everybody laughed, and I was like, you know, same thing, like, it's just a little something. Maybe I thought, put in this room. I remember having a little somethings like that in my room, but anyway. So I didn't get the chickens back, but I got him back, and now, oh God, how many minutes? We're 11 minutes in. I'm going to try and kill this by 13. In my Sunday school room, in my nursery school room at the Bloomfield Presbyterian Church when I was a tiny child, they had a box of these. Oh my God, I just spilled them. I've got to pick them up and treat them good. Anyway, if you're a child of the 50s or 60s, maybe you have to be a girl, but you might remember these if you're a sissy boy. Because they always came in the same little nondescript box. With the return address was 100 Dolls Company, New York, New York. And I never saw them that they didn't accompany this box. You could see this box and knew that there were 100 tiny pink plastic dolls inside it. And I'm telling you, there are some repeats in it, but that's okay. They are exquisitely detailed, tiny plastic, and it's like a, you know, it's like a brittle plastic. But I mean, they're not going to break. They're so tiny, they're not going to break. But I mean, the characters are like, oh, here's a Carmen Miranda type. I just showed you like a modern ballet dancer with her dress flying up, and Santa Claus, and who else we got here? Oh, I mean, there's some really kind of little wacky ones that I don't. Here's a señorita dancing, and there's a man who dances with her too, but I don't know, a cowboy. Anyway, enough about those. They're the only childhood toy that I kind of relatched onto, and they're the only childhood toy that when I do open them, I am filled with glee as a little child, because these were the holy grail. And for me, I just thought, this is something that I love so much, but I could never even dream to own such a sissified little simple thing, because they were in the Presbyterian Church nursery. I wonder if anybody who was also in that nursery remembers these. Okay, I'm going to go now. Y'all have a good day, and I got to pick up these dolls. Have fun. Happy Monday. Bye.